Hello. So today I'm gonna talk about the Persian miniature art, which is also known as manuscript art. So the first time I encountered with the Persian miniature art was this book. My Name is Red. It's written by Orhan Pamuk. He wrote Istanbul, and I was so mesmerized with Istanbul, the book, that I wanted to read all his books. And then I started reading this book, but then I couldn't finish it because I wasn't getting the grasp of the whole thing. Like so the book was about a court, it was, I think, during the Ottoman Empire. And then there is a sultan, and he commissioned for book, like a manuscript book. And then there were several characters, and actually each of the characters were from the picture itself. Those characters were telling their own story, and there was a lot of controversy because the how the sultan wanted the story to told, or to shown. The court will not accept that, and then there are different stuff going on. And then there is a very deep meanings of these manuscript books. And then sometimes it's said why it's my name is red, because that's also a chapter's name. But red is very important in miniature art form. One reason is it was a very they could get it easily, that's one thing. But again, it's very vibrant. It tells about the passion, it tells about love, it tells about the courage and everything. So in that book as well, they were saying that those characters actually have ruh. And then the the artists get blind, not from doing that art for so long, but actually they are looking at those ruh for so long that they those souls, like they are connecting to another world. And it was a very layered, very complex book. And I for that time, and I guess I wasn't mature enough to understand that book at that time. So like so again, I didn't finish the book, but actually I got very interested about this art form. And horses are another very big part of miniature art. And also there's no space. So if I go to the next slide, you can see those are from old time. And then if you look at these paintings, there is no space. There is everything is so clustered together, how we saw space in in Western art. It's very different here, right? So different stuff is going on, and sometimes it's not even the same time. Different times are going on in the same page. And then they also had like so the thing about miniature art is you can see the colors, the people, the way, sometimes the big and small, and there are different layering going on, and which actually influenced a lot, the set design, the film production, everything. like a Persian miniature art really influenced those. But again, what is this about books? Why did they need books, right? So first of all, Persia has gone under a lot of different dynasties throughout the time, lot of different dynasties, lot of different religions and everything. And then what happened is after Islam came to Persia, a lot of stuff really changed. They couldn't make those big sculptures and big paintings and everything, so they moved to more a smaller form, like like which is more like they added the calligraphy part from Arabic, and then they also added the storytelling, and then sometime like they were like making Shahnameh, and like so there was a shift more to like storytelling and like people, and in some like you'll not even see the face and everything. But the thing is, why they have like these facial like structures, and this really like I was always thinking like why do they have like these kind of eyes, and why do they have like these kinds of like facial features and everything. And then like when I was reading about the history, then I came to know that the miniature art actually was flourished during the Mongol time, right? So when Mongols like they pretty much like took the whole continent, like the whole Asia, Middle Asia, like South Asia, like this part. And then like Mongols were conquering, but again Mongols were like an empire which was on move, right? So like they were always traveling, they were already like always changing their places, so they need an art form which is not rigid, which is not like a big sculpture somewhere. They needed something that like they could take, they could like um go from places to places. I think like that's again my interpretation mainly, that like they need something like that. And also like they took the whole like the paper, like before that they like the Persians were writing in papyrus and everything, but like the actual like the paper, and then the inks, like the how like those things actually came from Asia, right? So like the East Asia. So Mongols like actually took like influenced that, and I think it was the Ilkhanate period when like the Persians like actually have a lot of miniature art growing, and then they actually made like this is the Great Mongol Shahnameh was actually written for like actually not written like Ferdowsi wrote it before that, but they like they made one Shahnameh for the Mongol people, right? So like there were a lot more stories and everything for the Mongol people. So like how like now the Persian culture and Mongol culture, everything is getting mixed, right? So like the miniature art form is very open to mixing and everything, and we are coming to that in a minute. And then also like the whole like the all the time when I was reading Shahnameh's stories before, that like why is there so like many dragons so big, like stuff like that. They are not Persian, like they were very much Asian in my head, but I didn't know about the Mongol period at that time, like when I was young, like very little. I read Shahnameh very yeah, like very little age. But anyway, so like you can see here that how Mongol influence was there, like you can see the dragon, like even when I think like when Firdaus actually wrote Shahnameh, there was that Mongol influence. And then in this image you really can see like the even the facial feature, the like the horse, the like the dragon, everything is very East Asian. So why I call this slide disassociation, like dis and then association. So what happened is that if you understand that manuscript books are not copied, like they are not being printed for mass production or like for regular people. They're made like one piece, one manuscript for like it's like a treasure, right? And like years of detailing in are going on, and then like there is like a whole team like apprentices. There is like somebody who will just make like the little details, or like when I was reading the like the My Name is Red, there was that main guy, like the main artist, and he also had like his apprentices, and they probably would draw like the little, like maybe like a bird or something. So like what happened is these books were like when I think like later, lot later, like they were actually cut down in pages, and then they were smuggled out of Persia, and then like in like European market. So you could like get like Persian, like these pages, like in like black art market basically, like in Paris, and then like in other places of Europe and US and everything. And then so that actually was very sad for Asia, because this like art form was originated there, this art form flourished there, this art form is like from there, but the original pieces are not there. The original pieces are in the museums of the West, and then now the museums are trying to like put them together. So why I put that association is because I was learning about initiative that like I think two different universities did that. Like, hey, you give a little like the page you have, and I will give the page I have, and then like we will merge them together, and our students will research on them together, and then like curate it and everything. So how like in like history we dissociated art, now we are associating art. A lot of museums like they already have like their digitized like manuscripts in like high res, so like any students, anybody can like get access to them. And I think like there was another new thing that like they invented like better printers and everything, so that are not just printer, like better scanners and everything, so that like they can like do it a lot more faster, but lot more if like yeah. So like I think like these initiatives are very good for art, that like now that the world is more like closer, we should like yeah. So I think like that's why like when the dissociation like really made me sad, but at the same time the association is like it's the same process, to be honest. So anyway, so like now we know that it's flourished and everything, but what happened, as I told, is that this miniature art form is a very fluid art form, right? So it like already took influences from Asian and Persian art, and also like the whole writing part came from Arabic, and then like there were even different writing styles, and like I think I was listening about Shikas, and then anyway, so already there are many mixes already happened, right? But about the Silk Road, it really like took it way, like took the like got it wing and everything. And then like so in the Silk Road, what happened is that it's all the way from Persia through the Afghanistan, Kazakhstan, like the Turkey, and then like the India to the like China and everything. So like all these countries were also involved in this art form, right? And Mongols had a thing like they would go to different places, and they would like gather the like artists, like their families, and then they will like put them in a different place, and then like something like that. So the artists are also in different places, and the miniature art really become like a status symbol of these little dynasties. Like, so during the Timurid period, again, it really flourished. But again, what happened is like after the Mongol dynasty like fall, like they had like the very little like dynasties in very like suppose like Samarkand has like its own like school where like they're like ideology, their like science, their arts like flourished in that area. Bukhara has its own way. And then like maybe like so, and I think Tabriz are like anyway, so like different places had different influences, and if you can look now, like they already changed a lot, right? Like from very like clustered or like very Asian, like now they're like more like Turkish or maybe like more like Afghan or something like that. So like now like they are again like adding stories from their own queens and kings and like their lives, and like different poets are writing their like poems, and like those are illustrated in the books and like stuff like that. So different like their stories are getting in. So one very important, like one of the very prominent artists were Kamaluddin Behzad. So I really like this painting of him, and like not a painting, it's a manuscript book, but like so this is like you can see he was very like ahead of his time. So Behzad has a thing that like he would make like the spaces, right? So one thing about miniature art was that like it will not have space, like individuality will not be there. That was the like start point, but Behzad actually changed that thing. Like it was the story of Yusuf and Jolekha, and then like in the story there is that those seven like compartments that and like seven doors that Zolekha closed for seduction, and then in the last chamber like she tried to seduce Yusuf, and then like in this story like he's showing each of those spaces, right? And then like each of them has their own individual identity. And so Behzad was very much like what we call like very Western like influence, but again he was a very prominent figure. So now we like found that they are like getting flourished in different places and becoming like the status symbol, right? And again, like so that so the art form is moving through the Silk Road, right? So the next stop, of course, is India. Okay, so the Mughals came in to India, and then like in India there is already like very strong, rich art culture is there, right? So it's not a new land. So Mughals came here and they took their like influence, and like they were influenced, and like so that's like I wrote that like the influence and the influenced. So like they made like a whole there is a whole Mughal painting genre where they actually like show that like how different people from here like they are in the court, or like different stuff is going on in the court and everything, and that's very beautiful. And then like they also like added a lot new materials to it. Like suppose before it was like those miniature books were like drawn with like squirrels like tails and everything, and then in here like there were more like Indian material, right? Like the red or like the indigo like the India, I think it's called Indian yellow, which is basically you feed the cow with a lot of raw mango leaves, and then their urine is yellow, and then like you make like yellow from there, and then like that's a very bright yellow, but it actually was stopped because like it is very toxic for the cows. So anyway, so why I'm saying it is that the art form again flourished in a different way in India. Like it's actually like flourished in the other parts as well, like wherever it traveled, like in Turkey, in Afghanistan, in like every part of Persia, like everywhere, like it flourished in its own way. So in India again, it flourished in its own way. And then like why I'm showing this picture is like this was a picture of Jahangir, and like he is holding like Mary's portrait, like Madonna's portrait. And this picture really showed like they were trying to say that like, hey, we are also like open to the Christians that are coming for like for uh, trades and everything. So Mughals were really trying to be like one of like people like he like native people. So like they were trying that very well. And then like so yeah, that the art form like really flourished again here in India. And then this was a very interesting, like I was also trying to find that like if there something happened in Bangla, right? Because it was also like Mughals also had their like their rule in Bangla. And then like what I found is like there is not like a huge like a miniature shift in Bangla, but there was like you see those dresses like they are actually wearing muslin cloths. So like how transparent the muslin is, like which is a very Bangla thing, that like they are actually like this lady also is wearing a muslin like cloth, and like she's showing a picture of I think like some like anyway it's a long story, but what I'm sure I was very interested in is that like these muslin cloths like that how they actually took local things like local motifs in their painting as well. So, and you can see like they are very different color wise, they are very different. Like I cannot say it's like anything like the actual miniature that we saw, like the original form, right? So I just wanted to show like how it changed over time. So again, like now in Mughal patronage, it's really flourishing. But again, Mughals empire falls at some point, right? So what happens after? So what happens, right? So like when Mughals empire failed, right? Like not failed, like fall, like fail, and then like they the art form really shifted a little bit again. Like so if you think like this art form is not being produced, right? So like it's very niche, it will be in somebody's like palace or like in a court or like a very rich person's home or something like that. So and you are making like one copy, you are not making like 2000 copies, right? So miniature art really shifted to more like Rajasthani, like the like wherever there are kings and queens and like aristocracy, like this art form like moved more to that. So like then like new ideas came in, new things came in. So like you remember like it started all the way from Islamic Shahnameh, like those things, right? And then like you just see like how the art form traveled and traveled and traveled, and now you are seeing that like an Hindu gods and goddesses like being portrayed in that art form. So the art form is very fluid in its own, and then just like it took from like everybody and it just like gave to everybody, and like so I really like how flowy this art form is in itself, that like it's not rigid, not it's in its like way, or like it's storytelling, or like the visuals, like nothing is stuck somewhere. So like miniature art is still there, like people produce it, but it's just not that like it needs a lot of patience, so that's why it really needs a lot of patronage because like yeah, so like again, I think like there should be like more like importance given like to its to keep this art form alive and at the same time to research on them and like how I showed in the like the association that everybody like should come together and really understand that like art is not like a boundary thing, like there is pretty much no boundary, so it can just flow as a river, so like it's yeah. So I think that's why like I'm really drawn to this art form, and then that's it. So yeah, bye.